feeling down, wanna come my way, gonna lift you up. Let me hear you say, yeah, we're living on love. 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 Oh, oh, we're gonna take you higher. Oh, oh, we're gonna lift you up. Oh, oh, we're gonna take you higher. Oh, oh, we're gonna lift you up. When you hit the ground, don't you lose your way. Gotta get back up. Let me hear you say, yeah, we're living on love. Yeah, we're living on love. Oh, oh, yeah, we're living on love. Yeah, we're living on love. Oh, oh, we're gonna take you higher. Oh, oh, we're gonna lift you up. Oh, oh, we're gonna take you higher. Oh, oh, we're gonna lift you up. We're gonna take you higher.
Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is 5:34 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. This meeting is officially open with the quorum present. At this time, we'll hear public comment. Addressing items on the agenda, let me remind you that because of the restrictions by the Texas Open Meetings Act, board members may not engage in a verbal exchange about a subject that has not been posted. We will listen and take notes, but the board's prohibited from responding to any inquiries made.
President Martinez, we have no public comment.
We have no public comment. Great, so then we will move on. Next, we will move to presentations, and I will turn it over to Dr. Molinar.
Thank you, President Martinez, and I'm excited to share with you this evening. Our last board meeting, I shared our benchmark scores, and this evening I'm sharing our NWEA MAP middle of the year scores with everyone this evening. Just a reminder, our new grade level norms in 2025, the NWEA, they changed their national norms to align with post-COVID norms across the nation. So when we talk about norms this evening, we're talking about national norms. These are not Texas norms or Fort Worth ISD norms. This is a comparison to how our students are progressing nationally across the state of Texas, or across the United States, not just within Texas. So why do we look at MAP data, especially our MOI data, our middle of the year data? It's because it is one of our Lone Star governance goals under progress monitoring. Our goal 1, as we know that we have adopted, is the percent of our third grade students that score meets grade level or above on STAR, English Language Arts, and Reading ELR. It will increase from 38% to 53% by 2030. We have done 2 6-week assessments that I shared in our November report, and then, of course, we did our benchmark report that I shared out in January. So you see right here in the middle, we have our target for our middle of the year MAP data. Last year, 24-25, we were at 44%. Our middle of the year target is coming in at 57% when we were looking at our third graders for ELAR. So just as a reminder to everyone, our progress monitoring is to see if we'll meet our goal for 2026 at 41% on STAR, and we utilize MAP as one of those progress measurements for our students. So here it is broken down actually by grade level. And I just wanted to do a little reminder of definitions when we look at this. What does MET projected grade level mean under MAP? It means it's our expected growth in a student's academic performance, and the goals are grade level expectations. So these are for our students that are on that grade level, and all of those targets are for that particular grade level you see listed there. And a MAP grade level norm is our performance levels of a student in relation to their peers and that same grade level across the nation. So when we look at these, we are very happy, of course, to see a lot of green on all the areas there. But I always want to point out and remind everyone that our goal 1 is around our third graders. So when you look at our current fourth graders this year, you'll see that we had a 20% gain at a 67. If you go back up to our last year third graders, they were at a 49%. So then when you look at what they did as fourth graders this year, you see they're at a 67%. So it's always important to remember that when we're looking at these comparisons that we go back to that same cohort. So we're really proud of how we're doing. So our third graders last year who were at a 49 scored a 67 this year. And then when you look at our second graders, we're at a 37%. They're coming in at a 66% already for middle of the year. So we want to thank our teachers for all their hard work and our campus leaders. And then you'll see our other grade levels there, but I'm just showing and pointing out our third grade goal for this one. Now here's when we talk about subgroups. We know that this is also what we're monitoring and is a really important target for us around closing the gaps. We know we need to close the gaps with our African American students in relation to our white students. When you look here for our grade levels here, I want us to look at our African American students, and you'll see that this year we are closing those gaps. When you look at the MET grade level norms, that we had 13% and our white students had 4%. So we are starting to see our subgroups closing the gaps between our African American students and our white students. And then you also notice, and you heard me start to really talk about chronic absenteeism and the impact of our students not being in school. And that's something that our campuses, all of our campuses have a goal in their campus improvement plans, their CIP, around attendance, and especially looking at their chronic absentee students, and that you'll see that we're making great progress with 12% gain in MET projected growth. And when we look at their MET grade level norms, we have an 8%. And of course, very proud of our special education students as well, as we're looking at how we're seeing the growth in both of those areas for our special education students. Here's our Spanish scores, just a reminder that we have a lower population of students, a group of students who take our assessments in Spanish, and some of these students actually take them in English and in Spanish, but you'll see here that we're also showing gains for our Spanish dominant students who also receive instruction in English. So you'll see some of their scores are in our English as well as in our Spanish scores here this evening. Goal 2 for our LSG goals is, of course, our third grade math. Our target is to be at 50% by 2030. That's an increase from 35%. For 2026, our target on STAR for third grade math is 37%. Last year, at this point on our MAP scores for middle of the year, we were at 42%. We are now at 57% for our middle of the year MAP scores. Just once again, just to stay consistent of what we're looking at on our grade levels, if we look at our third grade students on MET projected growth from last year, they were at a 53, and now as fourth graders, they're at a 66. So we're seeing them still make gains and increase. And let's look at our current second graders. For last year, they were at a 41, and this year as third graders, they're coming in at a 65%. So once again, we're seeing how we are increasing and meeting our targets across our grade levels here. And then once again, we're going to look at closing our gaps here and look at our subgroups. When you look at met grade level norms for our African American students are coming in at 13% versus our white students at 8%. So that once again shows how we're really closing the gaps. And then of course, continue increase with our chronic absenteeism. And as we pointed out, just super proud of double-digit gains for our special education students and met projected growth as well as met grade level norms. So we want to continue always making sure our parents understand every piece of data we collect, whether it's a 6-week assessment, it's a MAP middle of the year, beginning of the year, or end of the year, or whether it's a STAR or a benchmark, we send home family reports because we think it's very, very important. That's how we're always going to increase our parent partnership. And we do believe our parents must participate and have a voice in their child's education. So we already have loaded our MAP parent family reports into our parent portal. So this evening, we want to remind our parents to please go into the parent portal. You can find this information as well as we send that home. We do have our parent-teacher conference day coming up this Monday on our campuses that will also have shared reports. And they actually have some great definitions and how to read those reports available in the portal as well. And just a couple quick reminders. Our non-ATSE campuses are doing their parent-teacher conferences on Monday, February the 16th. And all of our designated 14 ATSE campuses, our students that attend school will attend school that day. But we have designed on those ATSE campuses school and family learning day. So we have some workshops set up that our students and our parents will participate in, as well as some special curriculum things that our parents can observe in the classroom real time. But just a reminder, if your child attends a campus, one of our ATSE identified 14 campuses, it is a regular school day. So we need them to attend as well. We rolled out, beginning of February, our pre-K and new student pre-registration. We are really trying to make sure our new parents coming in for pre-K have the ability to start pre-registering so we can make sure that we're ensuring not only spots on campuses, but that we're working with our staffing needs. So any new pre-K or new student in Fort Worth ISD, you'll see here from February the 2nd to March 31st, we're asking you to just start that pre-registration. That way we can monitor all of our new students coming into Fort Worth ISD, and we are seeing those numbers climb every single day. So we're tracking those. So we're very excited about our incoming pre-K, but then also across other grade levels, we have students coming in back to us from some of our other charter schools and even private schools, but then we have some students out of district that are pre-registering as well. And then we'll start the actual process April 1st is more of our structure process around what documents you need, and then we'll do our back to school forms August 1st. But if you are a current student in Fort Worth ISD, do not worry about pre-registering. You do not have to go through that process. We have you covered. All you have to do, you're automatically going to roll up. And then on August 1st, we'll just send you those back to school forms, which is really just verifying your current contact information so we can make sure we can get a hold of you if needed. This is something I'm very excited about. Our pre-K preview nights. So we are kicking these off starting actually February 10th. So one will actually start tonight, and then it runs through next week. So each of our pyramids are hosting pre-K preview nights that our parents and our new pre-K students can come in, see their school that they're going to be registering for, and then also we can help them with any pre-registration. So exciting for our 4-year-olds, and some may even be 3, getting ready to turn 4, to come into their big school where they're going to really live out their elementary career. So those are by pyramid, and you'll see that we have the site there, fortworthisd.org/pre-K, that you can find the date on your pyramid is hosting. And that's all of our elementary schools will be hosting those. So I'm going to talk about my Saturday, and I got to spend my Saturday morning visiting 3 campuses. We have many campuses that participate in Saturday school, and they call it Saturday camp, level up, literacy camps, math camps. And so I picked 3 this Saturday and got to visit them and see not only our students engaged in academic excellence, but then the commitment around our teachers to be working on a Saturday and serving on a Saturday. But what I also saw around the campuses was volunteers. We had parent volunteers there, as some of them were spouses of teachers that were there also facilitating. But the best part of that Saturday visit on those 3 campuses was excitement for our students to be there on a Saturday. There was quite a bit of snacks, I'm not gonna kid you. There was definitely some chips being handed out, some pizza and some wings for lunch, but that really drove the attendance, and we know it's only going to increase. Here you see a picture at Montague Middle School. So I got to visit Montague, that was my first stop, Montague Mustangs, and to see these middle schoolers. I want to tell you, middle schoolers, it's really hard to get a smile out of them and get excitement. And out of my 3 campuses, they were the most excited. They were engaged. I think they couldn't wait for the pizza and wings. But here you'll see just a picture of some of our students, as well as our teacher and our principal, just working with our students. And here's another picture of them. And like I said, just look at the excitement of middle school students being engaged that day. My second visit was at West Hanley Elementary, and you'll see they were really working on writing workshops. So this board has been very gracious to approve a new writing curriculum this year for Jane Schaefer to really make sure that we are not only building capacity of our teachers for writing, but also providing a writing curriculum for our students to be successful, not only on an assessment, but learn how to write. When you can write well, you read better, and you just learn at a faster rate. So at West Hanley Elementary, just exciting writing workshop that was in place. But what I love to see at this campus is that they started with a writing workshop piece and ended the day with a math piece as well. So our students were exposed to both writing and math, but the math teacher was helping during the writing portion, and then the writing teacher went and helped the math teacher as well. So these students were actually being able to receive instruction from 2 certified teachers. And West Hanley was recruiting across the district the best teachers to make sure they were providing Saturday instruction for their students. So here you'll see an example of some of our students here. And what the other part about Saturdays is that it's very casual. Our students aren't in uniform, so they always wanted to share what they were wearing, their hats or sweatshirts, and engage in those conversations. And they get to have a little bit less structure that you'll see present there. This group of young men, which also at West Hanley, they could not wait. They read me their essays. They had done a great job working on their graphic organizer, and they were writing about sombreros and just how they were working and collaborating together. And look at those smiles. So just really enjoyed spending some time there. This teacher here, this is a teacher from C.C. Moss Elementary who was teaching Saturday school at West Hanley with our bilingual students. And you've heard me before say how my husband likes to join me when I do some visits, and on Saturday he was with me, and he left that classroom just talking about just the caliber of teacher that was teaching writing. She was teaching students that she does not normally teach on a daily basis. The engagement level and the quality of instruction was just amazing. And she was teaching the entire Jane Schaefer curriculum all the way to a T. So just some celebrations, and then a couple other pictures of some of our dual language students. Here I took a picture. You can see our new curriculum, Jane Schaefer writing, right there in progress. You can see how our students are utilizing that curriculum with the graphic organizers and how that's translating as well. Just another group picture there. And now I want to share a story about Ladarius Hodges. So Ladarius Hodges is a 3rd grade student at Briscoe Elementary who was at Saturday school on Saturday. So that was my last visit of the day. And they were wrapping up to go eat their lunch and had the opportunity to talk to Ladarius and his teacher. And she shared with me that Ladarius entered her classroom below grade level, probably over a year below grade level on a reading level. And just this past week, he had met grade level for a third grade student and was reading aloud to his class and participating, engaging, and the entire class erupted in applause and just celebrated him without a teacher prompt on how well he has progressed in reading. So there are great things going on these campuses every single day, and we see that. We saw that in our data, but we're seeing it every day, and I just have to thank our teachers and our leaders for staying focused on our students every day, on instruction, and then implementing our new curriculum and an instructional framework. So at this time, I'll take any questions.
Trustee Dar.
Thank you, President Martinez, and thank you for this report, Dr. Molinar. I am very excited by the progress that's being made, that is being measured and being quantified, not only in smiles, but also in numbers. And so thank you for this report. The curriculum that you have put in place with this board support appears to be working, and so thank you for that. With the Saturday school, how are students selected to go to Saturday school, or is everyone invited to go to Saturday school? How is it determined who shows up for Saturday school?
So there's different criteria depending on what the focus of that Saturday is. So the principals and the executive directors of school leadership help identify the students. We always use data, and if you ever visit a campus, I always encourage you to say, hey, can I see your data room? Because there you'll see where each campus is tracking individual student data. So it's very specific to invitations, but what I loved, I'll give Monty Middle School a huge shout out, because some of their students who are on grade level or above grade level were invited to come to mentor and actually work with the other students. And we all know that we learn from our peers the best. And at Monty, they're already putting that in place. Just walk in and you see just fabulous PTA providing just a warm atmosphere, sign in, and just a great handoff when our students walk in. And so it really is dependent on if they're doing a writer's workshop, like we saw at West Hanley, then of course they're looking at the students and how they scored on the writing portion. And then their second part was a math. So it can change. And then it's usually in a cohort of Saturdays that are consecutive. Many of our campuses are not holding Saturday school this Saturday because it's Valentine's Day. And, you know, we always work around attendance. And the more our students hear how great our Saturday schools are, the attendance will increase as well.
Okay. Thank you for beginning this report with those good numbers, but by reminding us that students are far more than a number, and by ending the report with pictures of students and teachers doing the hard work that needs to be done. So thank you.
Trustee Lynch.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Molinar. Super exciting numbers. Just a couple quick questions. You said there were new grade level norms for MAP scores. So when you're looking at 24-25 to 25-26, is that a similar data set or different?
So in 2025, they redid the norms for post-COVID. 2024, you still have pre-COVID. So if you notice on page, I believe it's 2, we have a disclaimer there. These are national norms set. So these aren't just Fort Worth ISD or Texas norms, but MAP did re-norm. And I'm so proud of all the green, but we still have a long way to go. But we're seeing that across the nation where our students are progressing with grade level norms.
Okay, and is it, how do you predict with a new kind of norm to STAR?
So we do have one of the reports, if they are projected to meet STAR, not meet STAR, those we look at how close those projections were last year. And then we look at where they are middle of the year. One of the important things is that we not use one data set. So that's why you see on our goals, we utilize the 6-week assessments, our benchmarks, and our map. So there is a report that shows those projections, and it definitely is increased from last year. However, we have to remember that MAP is not star formatted.
Right.
So it's a different assessment. So that's why we show at least 3 different GPMs that we're monitoring, goal progress measures. And we'll be doing our second benchmark starting this month, and then and then all the way into March. So then we'll be able to really see that second benchmark, which is star formatted, and a release test that is a state release star formatted test. We have a better idea of projections for each of our students and be able to go deep into individualized support plans.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Trustees, any other questions or comments? All right, we will move on to number 4. Board review of student expulsion appeal. At this time, we will move to agenda item 4A, the board review of student expulsion appeal, which requires meeting in closed session as authorized under section 551 of the Texas Government Code, sections 551.071 and 082. We will call the parties involved when it's time to come forward, and the time is 5:58 p.m. and the date is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. We will now recess and reconvene for executive session as authorized by Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code under sections 551.071 and 082. In accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:34 PM with the quorum present, recessed open session, convened executive session, adjourned executive session, and now reconvened open session at 8:00 PM with the quorum present. We are now at agenda item 7, board deliberation and render decision, if any, on the student expulsion appeal. Do I have a motion? Trustee Phillips?
Thank you, President Martinez. I move to amend the expulsion decision as discussed in closed session and authorize board counsel to issue the decision to the parent.
Do we have a second? Second. Dr. Rodriguez, any discussion? Please move to voting. Five, three, motion fails.
I have an alternate motion.
All right, Trustee Dar. Good.
I move to approve the board's expulsion review as decision as discussed in closed session and authorize board counsel to issue the decision to the parent.
Do I have a second? Second. Trustee Jackson, any discussion? Trustee Dar? No.
Oh,
Please move to voting. Motion passes 5-3. And at this time, I'm going to pass over to Trustee Jackson for a comment.
Thank you, President Martinez. It's a privilege tonight to share a few words in honor of our dear colleague, a 12-year council person who served as Mayor Pro Tem until her choice to retire in May of this last year, 2025. The Honorable Gina Bivens chose her partners in community work very carefully. In working with her, you were first known to work for the greater good, or she wouldn't work with you. She implemented the plan, and you followed it, and you stayed on task, and you always over-delivered, and you always remained ahead of schedule. Gina served East Fort Worth, but she also served Greater Fort Worth with equivalent tenacity. She delivered an unsurpassed amount of revenue and development to improve the quality of life for all Fort Worthians. Gina was recognized as a leader locally, statewide, and at the national level, and she brought those accolades, honors, and money home to us. It was through this multi-tiered work she delivered for Fort Worth and was entrusted to do so by her East Fort Worth constituents for 2 decades. Our Fort Worth ISD Board of Trustees will deliver a resolution to her family, her mother, Mrs. Betty Bivens, her sister, Melanie, and her brother, Waylon, in Ms. Bivens' honor and for her amazing work on behalf of all children in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Jackson. The time is now 8:05 PM and this meeting is adjourned.